In this video, I'm going to explain why successful career-driven women really struggle being consistent when it comes to their health and fitness. Firstly, my name is Bo Murley. I am the founder of AlphaHer, and for the last near decade, we have coached over 3,000 successful career-driven women inside our coaching program, where they walk away in a very short period of time looking amazing, feeling amazing, and truly living their best life. And our program is the last investment they ever have to make in their health and fitness to ultimately empower them to be able to do this on their own and never have to spend time, energy, money, effort on something like this ever again. So with that being said, I want to dive in, and in doing this for as long as we have, we tend to work with women who used to be in really good shape. We work with a lot of women who are former athletes like myself. They were in great shape when they were in high school, college, even their early mid 20s, and then marriage, kids, career, life happened, and like so many women we work with, they ended up putting themselves on the back burner. But here's really important thing is, how do you define consistency? One mistake that women that we work with, they believe that being consistent and being perfect are almost the same thing, and that could not be further from the case, because you have a lot of women that we speak to who are 30, 40, 50 years of age, 50 plus, and they're not happy with how they look and they feel, and they want to lose weight, they want to look better, they want to feel better, and they're conditioned to believe like the only way that I can get back in shape is do what worked for me when I was 20 or 30. One, your body changes as you age, but two, which I would say is even more important, your life has certainly changed. When you were a single woman living your best bachelorette life, when you were in your 20s, just starting your career, you had a lot more free time. You didn't have, kids, maybe a marriage, family. You didn't have responsibilities around the house. You didn't have as much responsibility. Probably when you first started in your career, you weren't managing people. Now you are. You oversee others. So there's just a lot more on your plate. But back then, women will tell us that I had all this time. I could go to the gym for 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 4 or 5 times a week. I used Sundays to meal prep. I was more active. I was in volleyball leagues. I went and played tennis with my friends, and I played softball, and I was in a softball league, and me and my friends would go for hikes on the weekend. You were much more active. You had more time that you could truly dedicate. But what happens is women for 10, 20, 30 years, they struggle, and they just truly believe that to get in great shape again, they have to do with what worked for them in their 20s. But one, you don't have time for that anymore. And two, your body and just where you're at, it just wouldn't make sense to do that. So it's much more now about how to be efficient and effective in what you're doing. So many programs lead you believe like you have to kill yourself to get to where you want to be. And that just could not be further from the case. But so many women, believe that the only way they can get in shape is do what they did, years ago. And that's why it's so important to have something that's truly tailored to you, because I will tell you, it's just not about the time that you put in. It's about being efficient and effective, working smarter, not harder. When we bring a woman in, it's like, okay, based on understanding her life, how can we really optimize everything? Where's the sweet spot in working out? What is the max number of workouts that we can do per week that she can remain consistent? For some women we work with, that's 2 really great workouts. For some it's 3, for some it's 4. Every single woman is different, but at the end of the day, it's about what they can be consistent with, what fits into them and their lifestyle, what is doable. Because some programs and women will do things where the program says, oh, you got to work out, 5-6 days a week, and they'll do well for a week and then fall off. And they're like, well, I can't be perfect. I can't keep this up. What's the point in doing this? Or it's the same when they go to like a boot camp, they sign up, it's unlimited per month, and they feel like, oh, I need to get there 3 or 4 times a week. And then one week they only get there once, and they get down on themselves. So the first thing that I wanted to share is, because of what you did when you're 20 and 30 does not mean you have to do that again, and that's the only way you can get back in shape, because those days are long gone. and you'll probably never have that amount of free time in your life ever again. And it's okay. And also your body has certainly changed. What even if you were able to do what you did when you're in 20s and your early 30s, probably isn't optimal when you're 40, 50, 60 years of age. The second thing is I'll tell you is consistency and perfection are not the same thing. We have so many women who will come into our program, and consistency does not mean perfection, but they think they have to do every assigned workout. They have to, adhere to this, they have to adhere to that. And each week is different. Some days are different. There's seasons of life where we've had women who are CPAs during tax time. February, March, and April, the first couple of weeks of April is going to look much different than what they're able to do May, June, and July. It is what it is. But that's why it's having something that's truly tailored, that's flexible around your life makes a huge difference. Because in some weeks, women we work with where they have, a pretty good schedule, it's not 1,000 things on their plate, maybe it's only 500, they're able to get to the gym, 3 or 4 days a week that week. And that's what consistency looks like that week. And then we have weeks where they have a million of things on their plate. They're traveling, they're heading out of town this week, and they have this going on, they have that. So for this week, consistency in the goal might be if they can just get to the gym twice, that will be a huge win. So I think the ability to be a great coach and why we get the results that we do in our program, and I'll leave you with this, is you see so many programs where it's super hardcore. They push you, no excuses, no days off, go balls to the wall. And a lot of women, think that that's what they need because that's what worked when they were in their 20s and 30s, and they do it and then they fail and they burn out and they get down on themselves because they can't keep it up. It's almost like so many programs want to run it like you're in a military boot camp. That's not optimal. And then also on the way far end of it, you have, you missed some workouts? That's okay. Just journal about what you're going to do better next time. Like, you don't need that crap either. Like a lot of things in life, moderation somewhere is in the middle. And we have moments where a good coach has the ability to know when to push and then when to pull back with a client. What I mean is coming in on those weeks when you have this going on, you have that, you have this, and coming in and saying, okay, 4 workouts this week is not going to happen. But just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you do nothing. Let's get 2 great workouts in. Or instead of working out for 45 minutes, let's make your workouts 15 minutes where you can do them at home as opposed to going to the gym. Instead of getting 3 walks in this week for 30 minutes, let's make 2, 10, 15 minute walks outdoors. So you need that at some times. And then also too, like we have women who are supposed to get a 20-minute walk-in after work before dinner. They get home, they reach out to their coach, be like, I had a really long day. Like a couple of my employees bothered me and I had this going on, I've had that. And then a coach is like, hey, so-and-so, stop making excuses. You'll feel better. You have time. Go get your damn walk-in and you'll feel better. And then you can enjoy the rest of your evening and not have that, guilt or shame hang over you because you didn't do it. And they're like, yep, you're right. So a great program, great coach needs to be able to have both. So with that being said, hopefully that is helpful. But again, just because of what worked in your 20s and 30s, it's probably not going to work for you anymore. Your body changes and your life changes. Secondly, consistency and perfection are not the same thing. Life is fluid. There's ups and downs. There's busy weeks and weeks that aren't so bad. So consistency changes week to week for our clients in our program, and consistency does not mean perfection. So many women think, well, consistency and perfection are the exact same things. If I'm supposed to do 5 workouts this week and I don't do them all, I'm not being consistent, and that could not be further from the truth. Hopefully that was helpful. It gives you some things to think about. We'll see you on the next one.